Games Workshop, also known as Warhammer, loves to put emphasis on start collecting boxes and combat patrols being the best bang for your buck when starting a Warhammer army. But just how good are they? And should you really even buy one? And that's exactly what we're going to take a look at today. I went and bought a Warhammer 40k 10th edition starter set, and this is it right here. It is £67.50, and we're going to take a look at it today, what's actually inside it, and whether you should actually spend your hard-earned money on this box right here. In this box, you get a 64-page handbook, 2 reference sheets, 10 dice, a transfer sheet for all the things you can put onto the, shoulder pads and whatnot of all the models, 2 range rulers, and a playing mat, which is actually pretty cool, the fact that you get a playing mat in here. You also get, in the Space Marines section, you get a Captain and Terminator armor, 5 Terminators, and 5 Infernus Marines. You also get on the Tyranid side a Tyranid Prime, 3 Von Ryan Leapers, a Psychophage, 20 Termagants, and 2 Swips? And 2 Ripper Swarms. Now, comparing this to a Space Marine combat patrol, you get the following: 1 Captain in Terminator armor, a Librarian in Terminator armor, 5 Terminators, and 5 Infernus Marines. So also bearing in mind that the combat patrol is £100, and this box right here is £67.50. Bear that in mind. Also note that you're getting, for £100, just the Space Marine units. So already, besides the fact that you're not getting the Librarian and Terminator armor, you're already saving quite a lot of money. Alright, now bear that in mind for just now. Now, over in the Tyranid Combat Patrol, you get the following: 1 Tyranid Prime, a Psychophage, 3 Von Ryan Leapers, 5 Barbergaunts, 20 Termagants, and 2 Ripper Swarms. Now again, you are getting this for £100. So once again, for another £100, you get everything in this starter set box, plus the 5 Barbergaunts. So now, going off purely price alone, without the extra models that you need to actually acquire to get everything you get in the combat patrols, with this box here, you are saving £132.50. £132.50. That's actually a bit mad. Considering you spend £67.50 on this, and then if you wanted to go and buy the 2 combat patrols for £200, you can then go and buy another one of these boxes with the money you'd save, and then some. My mind's blown. I have no extra words. I genuinely have nothing else to say. Now, say for example you did actually want the Librarian and Terminator armor for whatever reason. Don't get the Librarian and Terminator armor. I'm not forcing you not to. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I wouldn't. But say if you did want him, he's going to set you back £25. Now, say for example you also wanted to get the Barbergaunts. I keep hitting the microphone. Can we stop doing this, Charlie? I need to figure out a better way. Now, say for example you did actually want the Barbergaunts as well, that you're not getting in this, but you are getting in the combat patrol. They're going to set you back £28. Now, for 5 minis, I think that's actually pretty good, if you ask me. So say for example you bought this box here, and then you went and bought the other 2 models, well, technically 6 models, but 2 boxes that you're going to be missing out from just buying this alone. Your total now goes up to £120.50. That's still a saving of £79.50, which is still enough to buy another one of these, even though you've now got all the minis that you get in the 2 combat patrols from just this, plus the 2 that you buy separately, and you're still saving £79.50. I just think, money-wise, it is such a smart decision to make to actually do what I'm kind of talking you through right now, rather than just getting 2 combat patrols, and we'll go into a little bit more why in a second. So once again, you get the 2 combat patrols, cool, £200 down the drain, you've got everything in this box plus some, right? Okay. Say you decide to buy this, and the 2 boxes of the models you're missing from this because you want to get the stuff that's in the combat patrol, but for cheaper. You also get this in the... I know I said this earlier, but just to recap, you also get this. A 64-page handbook about the game. 2 reference sheets. 10 dice. I mean, the dice are cool. You've probably got your own dice, or you're probably going to get your own dice because you want your own custom ones, or you don't really care about the 10 dice, but they're small... They're about that big. I'm not going to get them out to show you, but they're about that big. A transfer sheet, which you get with everything anyway when you obviously get the boxes. 2 range rulers, which are these very flimsy inch measurement sort of like movement sticks, which are kind of cool, but again, they're just like a gimmick. And then you also get a playing mat, which I think is the best thing in this box besides the 64-page handbook. And I guess the dice are pretty cool too. But you get that as well. You get those on top of the minis you're getting in this, besides the ones that you're not getting with the combat patrols. But no one really cares about a Librarian and Terminator, or if you want to go into too much detail about it, I won't, but you can do your own sort of like research into the matter. There are a lot of better options out there compared to the Librarian that you can replace for, which is in a sense, what I would always choose this over the combat patrols anyway. So to answer the question, should you buy this box? Should you buy the Warhammer 40k 10th edition starter box? Yes, I think you should. In my personal opinion, of course. And obviously, if you like saving money and cheating the system, then yes, you really, really should buy this box. I'm not sponsored. This is not a sponsorship. I'm trying to save you guys out their money by buying this box. Purely because the value for money that you get in this box is insane. Now, personally, in my opinion, I think you'd be making a grave mistake if you're thinking about starting a Space Marines army and not getting this box. So put it this way, say if you're like me and one day you're planning to not just have one army, because playing with one army day in, day out for the next 10 years will get pretty boring pretty quickly. Say if you're like me and you want to start a second army, maybe a third one, or you want to have one of every single army that you can possibly have, like myself, because obviously, one, I'll be doing it for the channel and I'll be doing it for me because I love Warhammer that much. You'd be able to have this box in particular, to have the Space Marines and then have the Tyranids as your second army. Now, maybe, unlike me, you don't want a Tyranid army and you want to just shell them off for more money and take that money that you get from selling the Tyranid section of this box to buy more Space Marines with. Or you could just give them to a friend. Maybe, okay, hear me out with this one, you could keep the Space Marines for yourself, or the other way around, you want the Tyranid section of the army. You could then keep the Tyranids or the Space Marines and give the other army that you don't want. Why did I say that like that? You don't want this other army. Not at all. You don't want this other army, so you give it to your mate who doesn't really do Warhammer or wants to get into the Warhammer hobby, and you charge him £32 for this. Or whatever money split, 67.50. I can't be bothered to do maths right now because I've already done the maths before and my brain hurts a little bit too much. But say you want to give the second side of this army to your mate. You just made money to buy more Space Marines with, and now you've got a friend to play Space Marines versus, or you've got literally the possibilities are endless, guys. You could give this to a friend, and now you have an opponent to play Warhammer 40k and Tabletop with. Just from this one box. You've already got half the stuff you need to actually play the game right in here anyway. All for £67.50. Now, I think that's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Now, if you excuse me, I'm off to paint some orcs. Oh, and click one of these two videos here. They're great for beginners. Cheers.